Hello friends, my name is Daksh and on the last video I showed you the game in the Karakan against the Karakan. You can win the game in the just 10 moves. At that time I will tell you that if you learn that kind of mini games from the grandmasters, then what happened in your own game. So there is a today's game is an example of one of my students' game. So he's Devansh and he's from Dubai and he's just 10 years old. So I will show you. Here the Devans is playing as a black pieces. So let's see what happened in the game. So the white plays here pawn to e4. Black reply with the pawn to e5. Okay, blocking the pawns, controlling the center. Play knight f3 to hit the pawn. Now here the simple response will be knight to c6 and defending. But he want to play something crazy, so he go. Okay, here what the thing is happening that he is offering his opponent a pawn. Okay, so his opponent denied the pawn and he goes with the knight to c3. But I will tell you what happened if he takes it. Then there is a one Stafford Gambit line. So what he'll do in that, we'll just put the knight here on the c6. So if your opponent just took the knight, then then your queen will get open, your bishop is open, and now you are threatening the pawn. So in this game, there are lots of people who is just trying to hit your knight with the pawn. Then the knight will simply went on the e4 in the center, and now some people think like, yeah, knight is like looking very bad, so let's kick out in one more time. When he tried to do this kind of moves with the pawn to d3, then it's very great move that you can just put the bishop to c5. And what is the idea behind that move? When your opponent just took the knight like this way, then you can just take the bishop and take his pawn, and it's a check. And now the important thing here is the king can't take it, because like if the king will take the bishop, it is like removing a defender for the queen. So if he takes it, you will just get the queen like this way. So the king decided to go to like a e2. Then there is a one stunning move where we force him to take the bishop, and that is you can play the bishop to g4, and now it's like it's a skewer. He has to take. You can just get. Now you're threatening this move, and the game lost for the white. So that kind of crazy thing happens in the Stafford game bit. So now let's go back to the game. What happened? His opponent just denied to take that, and he just plays a yeah. I will just play the knight here to protect it. I say okay, I will just defend it with the knight. White plays the queen here, which is not a good move because what it do actually do nothing. You're defending the pawn. It look like that, but what is trouble in that you are not allow your bishop to go out, and if you're not allowing your bishop to go out, how you will do the castle? And if you're not doing the castle, how you will launch the t? So actually, the queen e2 is not a good move. If you want to play a good game, you have to develop your pieces, do the castle, and then try to a t. Not just playing queen to e2. So the black plays bishop to c5, and now the white went on the queen to c4 to attack the bishop. Here, what the white is doing mistake, he is moving the same pieces again and again. So when you do that kind of thing, your development will be not good. Okay, so he's trying to hit the bishop. So white say, okay, I will defend with the pawn. And you see that when you defend with the pawn, you open up the bishop diagonal too. So which is a good move. You defend it with the development. So now in the game, it happens like a knight to g5. And here there is a one move threat. If you didn't see that kind of moves, then you will lose the game in a one turn. So what is the idea of white? He want to take the pawn on the f7 with the help of queen, and the knight is protecting it, so it will be the checkmate. So if you play something silly move like which is pawn to a6 or like pawn to b5, anything like that kind of moves, even though if you play the bishop to e6, it's a wrong move because knight will take, you will take, and the queen will take, and it's a check. So the black here, there are like lots of reply. You can stop the video and tell me the answer that if you are here as a black, what you will do. So here there are two moves which you can play. The number one is you can do the castle, which is safe, good, and then you can just kick out the knight. Then you take the queen. Then you put the knight here to threatening this kind of moves, and it will be very attacking game for the black, where you attack the queen and all the weaknesses. Why it happens? Because the white plays the queen too many times, which is not a good idea. Generally, in the opening, you should not bring the queen. Okay, so and what is the second move? I told you now that when you see the Grandmaster's game and see the crazy stuff, you will adapt that thing into your game. We see the last game and this game, it's like completely different game, but still he figured out this move, which is like a bishop to f2. Yeah, it's like a sacrificing on the f2. Like what happened after bishop f2? So it's a check. Yeah, it's look like why you give up your free bishop. You have to defend the meat. Okay, you don't have to give up the bishop. But here the idea is when the king will take it, and if he didn't take it, then we will simply defend it by the castle. So if he want to take some initiative, he has to take. So he takes it, and now what is the idea behind it? The queen want to go on the g5, but the knight is in the way. So we can just move the knight on the g4, which will give him check, and then you also take the knight. So what happened? You give up your bishop, get the pawn, and now you get the knight back. So at then you advantage over one pawn, you remove the threat, and you also destroy your opponent's castle. So then after white goes on the g2 g1 square, which is not good for the white. Now the black say, okay, let's take the knight here. And that kind of game happen only two times in the lichess platform. So yeah, white here. Okay, there's one cunning trick happens. Like he can play the pawn here. So what is the threat behind it? He want to do the discover attack on your queen, and here lots of people forgot about that kind of things, and they just do the castle, and then they just lose the queen. So whenever the center pawn moves, you have to see that the bishop's diagonal is getting open. So here the bishop diagonal is open, and now your queen is under attack. So now what you have to do, you have to move the queen, but where? So you need an idea. So what is the idea here? This f2 square is a weak. Knight is defending that square. So you have to bring the queen there. So there are two ways to bring the queen there. So like the one is a queen f6 and the another is queen to h4. It is not sure that if you do that move, you will definitely reach there and it's a checkmate. But you have to try it. That's a chess. So he goes there on the queen h4 and he is lucky that he moves his opponent moves the bishop there. And now you can tell me what is a move for the black side. And if you know the answer, you can comment in the chat box. So the answer here is a queen to f2, which is a checkmate. You see that? It's a mate. So what is the difference when you see the grandmaster's game and then you play? Then you can figure out that kind of crazy move which is like a bishop to f2. Okay, so I hope that will improve your game. And if you like the video, you can just click on the like and subscribe to my channel for the further videos. We'll meet in the next video. Till that, bye bye.